What if every struggle you faced, every delay, every unexpected turn was never random at all, but part of a deeper unfolding guiding you quietly forward? What if tonight, as you rest, you finally see your life not as broken pieces, but as a meaningful pattern coming into focus? Stay with this moment, because what you're about to hear can change how you understand everything you've lived through. If you're enjoying the video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Tonight, as you settle in and allow your body to relax, you're invited on a journey that doesn't cross oceans or borders, but moves inward, into ancient wisdom that has soothed restless minds for thousands of years. This is not something to analyze or rush through, but something to experience gently, letting each breath slow and each thought soften. As the noise of the day fades, imagine yourself waking at dawn in a quiet mountain monastery wrapped in mist, where the air smells of pine and incense and time feels unhurried. You came here carrying questions that have followed you for years, questions about why life feels unfair, why pain seems random, why effort doesn't always lead to reward. Sitting on a worn cushion across from an elderly monk with kind, steady eyes, you sense that he understands your struggle without you needing to explain it. He speaks calmly, asking what if nothing in your life has ever happened by accident? What if suffering itself follows laws just as precise as nature? As you listen, you notice your breath forming faint clouds in the cool air, appearing and disappearing, reminding you that everything you experience rises and falls the same way. Thoughts drift like a river, never the same from one moment to the next, yet somehow continuous, and the monk gently explains that this constant change is not a flaw in life, but its very nature. Memories surface, missed chances, broken relationships, painful decisions, and you feel their weight, but instead of pushing them away, you begin to see them differently. Each thought, each action, each word, he explains, creates ripples that move outward, shaping what comes next, just like a stone dropped into water. Life isn't punishing or rewarding you, it's responding. You ask why good people suffer while others seem to prosper without effort, and he smiles softly, explaining that causes don't always show their results immediately. Some seeds grow overnight, others take years, some longer than we can see, but none are lost. As you walk through a garden together, past flowing water and carefully tended plants, you begin to understand that what feels like chaos is often just complexity beyond your current view. From a higher vantage point overlooking valleys and rivers, the monk shows how perspective changes everything, how patterns appear only when you step back far enough. Life, he says, feels unjust when we see only fragments, but meaning emerges when we recognize connection. You learn that understanding this doesn't remove pain, but it transforms how you meet it. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of fate, you begin to recognize your power to shape what comes next through awareness and choice. Even eating becomes a lesson, each grain of rice reflecting sunlight, rain, soil, and countless hands, revealing how nothing exists alone. In silence, you learn mindfulness, discovering how much of life you've missed by always being elsewhere, trapped in past regrets or future worries. Sitting in meditation, you watch thoughts arise and fade. Emotions appear and dissolve, sensations change moment by moment, and suddenly impermanence is no longer an idea but a direct experience. You see how one thought leads to another, how emotions depend on beliefs, how reactions are conditioned rather than fixed, and this realization loosens something deep inside you. Walking again through gardens and forests, you notice how nature never fights itself. Trees grow toward light, water flows around obstacles, animals adapt without complaint, and you begin to sense that much of your suffering has come from resisting what is rather than working with it. Stories shared by the monk echo in your mind, tales where apparent misfortune later reveals hidden protection, reminding you how limited judgment can be. You start to see that equanimity doesn't mean indifference, but balance, the ability to feel joy without clinging and pain without being crushed. Even difficult emotions, when observed without judgment, lose their power to control you, becoming passing weather rather than permanent storms. As days pass and teachings deepen, you understand that this wisdom is not about blame, fate, or deserving, but responsibility mixed with compassion, recognizing that everyone is shaped by countless conditions, many beyond their control. Returning to ordinary life, the teachings follow you quietly, revealing themselves while washing dishes, walking outside, facing setbacks, reminding you to pause, to ask what conditions led here, what resistance would cost you, and what response might create better conditions ahead. Life doesn't suddenly become easy, but it becomes clearer, lighter, less personal, less cruel. You begin to notice moments of peace appearing not because problems vanish, but because you stop fighting reality and start cooperating with it. Even sleep arrives differently now, as another natural unfolding, thoughts dissolving, breath slowing, awareness drifting gently, held by rhythms older than memory. As you rest, allow this understanding to sink deeper, not as a belief to hold on to, but as a truth to observe for yourself, that everything you experience arises from causes and conditions, nothing wasted, nothing random, everything offering an opportunity to grow in wisdom and compassion. Let go into this moment, trusting the quiet intelligence of life itself, knowing that even now as you breathe and drift, everything is unfolding exactly as it must, for reasons woven through time, inviting you to meet each moment with clearer eyes and a softer heart. As your breathing deepens and the edges of thought soften, notice how awareness itself remains gently present, watching sensations rise and fall without effort. Even now, your body knows how to rest, how to repair, how to release what no longer needs to be carried, all guided by conditions working together in quiet harmony. The mind may wander briefly to tomorrow, to unfinished conversations or unanswered questions, but instead of following those thoughts, you simply notice them appear and fade like clouds crossing a wide night sky. This simple noticing is not something you force. It happens naturally when resistance loosens. You begin to sense that peace is not something you chase, but something revealed when you stop struggling against what is already here. Each breath becomes a teacher, showing you how inhalation gives way to exhalation without complaint, how holding on too tightly would only create tension. In the same way, life moves forward when you allow experiences to pass through you rather than defining you. The quiet understanding settles deeper now, not as words, but as a felt sense that whatever arises in your life is not an enemy to defeat, but information to understand. Even uncertainty has a role, guiding you to humility and patience, reminding you that not everything needs immediate answers. As muscles relax further and the body grows heavier, the mind begins to trust this process, realizing that control has never been what kept you safe, awareness has. Somewhere within this calm, you recognize that growth often happens beneath the surface, unseen, just as roots strengthen in darkness long before leaves appear. Nothing you've endured has been meaningless. Even the moments that once felt like pure loss carried lessons, shaping your capacity to understand, to care, to respond differently now. You don't need to replay the past or predict the future to honor those lessons. They're already alive in how you breathe, how you pause, how you listen. Let this understanding cradle you as sleep approaches, knowing that rest itself is part of the unfolding, a necessary condition for clarity, resilience, and renewal. The mind can finally release its constant need to make sense of everything, trusting that meaning continues to reveal itself in its own time. With each slow breath, you sink deeper into ease, carried by the same natural laws that guide the stars, the seasons, and every quiet transformation within you, allowing this awareness to gently accompany you as you drift further into rest. As the space between thoughts widens, you may notice a gentle stillness settling in, not forced, not fragile, but steady and reassuring, like being held by something larger than your own effort. The body no longer needs instructions. It follows ancient rhythms learned long before language, before memory, before worry. Each breath arrives exactly when it's needed and leaves without hesitation, teaching you again that letting go is not loss but balance. If images or fragments of dreams begin to surface, you allow them to pass without grasping, understanding that even these are expressions of conditions unfolding naturally. There is nothing you need to fix right now, nothing to solve, nowhere you must go. Awareness remains soft, curious, unburdened by urgency. You begin to feel how deeply exhausting it once was to fight reality, to demand certainty where none could exist, to measure yourself against outcomes you never fully controlled. In this gentler state, it becomes clear that strength has never meant resistance, but adaptability, the quiet intelligence to respond rather than react. Even moments of pain, when seen clearly, have shaped your depth, teaching you where compassion lives and how humility opens space for understanding. The mind, once restless, now seems content to observe rather than interfere, trusting the unfolding without needing to name it. Thoughts grow fewer, and when they do appear, they feel distant, like echoes fading into silence. You sense how life continues to move through you even in stillness, circulation flowing, cells renewing, awareness resting yet alive. This calm is not escape, it is alignment, a brief harmony with how things truly are. And in this alignment there is nothing missing. You rest inside the knowing that whatever comes next will arise from countless causes meeting perfectly, just as this moment has, allowing yourself to drift even deeper, carried effortlessly by the same quiet order that has always been guiding you. The mind no longer searches for meaning because meaning is already present in the experience itself, quietly woven into every sensation, every pause, every subtle shift of awareness. You may feel as though you're floating between waking and sleep, a soft threshold where effort dissolves and understanding seeps in without words. Here nothing needs to be explained. The body rests because it is time to rest. The heart softens because it finally feels safe enough to do so. Even silence feels alive, full rather than empty, holding you the way the night holds the earth without judgment or demand. If emotions gently surface, nostalgia, tenderness, a faint sadness, or gratitude, you let them be exactly as they are, recognizing them as visitors shaped by countless moments that came before. There is no need to label them good or bad, they simply belong. In this quiet awareness, you begin to sense how much energy was once spent resisting feelings, resisting change, resisting uncertainty, and how natural it now feels to simply allow. Allowing does not mean giving up. It means understanding where your effort is truly needed and where surrender brings wisdom. The mind relaxes into this truth, releasing old habits of tension the way the body releases weight into a comfortable surface. You trust that clarity does not always arrive loudly. Often it whispers, arriving gently when you stop chasing it. The present moment feels complete, not because everything is perfect, but because nothing is being rejected. Each breath continues to guide you, subtle and steady, carrying you further into rest, while awareness remains like a soft lamp glowing in the background, illuminating just enough to feel grounded. You don't need to remember everything you've heard or understood tonight. What matters is that something deeper has listened, something that will surface naturally when life calls for it. For now, you simply rest, knowing that even this drifting, this surrender, this quiet unfolding is happening for a reason, exactly as it should. As awareness drifts even further inward, the sense of time loosens its grip, and moments stretch softly without needing to be counted. The body feels supported, almost as if the ground itself is breathing with you, rising and falling in quiet companionship. There is a subtle reassurance in realizing that you don't have to stay alert for anything because nothing is being demanded of you now. The mind, once busy stitching together stories, rests in a simpler knowing, aware without effort, present without strain. If faint thoughts appear, they feel less like commands and more like distant murmurs, easily acknowledged and gently released. You may notice a warmth spreading through your chest or a softness behind your eyes, the natural response of a system that finally recognizes it is safe to let go. In this state, you don't analyze your life or replay old scenes. Instead, you sense it as a whole, not as a list of successes or failures, but as a flowing process that has been learning all along. Every experience, even the ones that once felt heavy or confusing, has contributed to this moment of quiet understanding. Nothing needed to be forced for you to arrive here. Conditions gathered, choices unfolded, awareness deepened, and rest emerged naturally. You can feel how surrendering to this flow doesn't weaken you, it steadies you like water finding its level. The mind grows quieter still, content to observe without naming, to exist without striving. Breathing continues, smooth and unhurried, carrying with it a sense of trust. Trust in the body's wisdom, trust in the unfolding of life, trust that whatever arises next will come when it is ready. Wrapped in this calm, you drift deeper, held by the simple truth that even now, in this soft descent into rest, everything is unfolding exactly as it should, guided by causes that know how to carry you gently forward. The space you're resting in now feels wide and gentle, as if awareness itself has slowed to match the rhythm of your breath. Nothing presses in on you and nothing pulls you forward. Sensations become softer, less defined, like edges dissolving into comfort. The body settles naturally, muscles releasing layer by layer, not because you ask them to, but because they recognize its time. Even the mind seems to trust this moment, no longer scanning for problems or replaying old narratives. Instead, it rests in simple presence, aware without effort, calm without instruction. You may notice how different this feels from forcing relaxation, how ease arrives on its own when resistance fades. There is a quiet intelligence at work here, the same one that guides healing, growth, and renewal when conditions allow. Thoughts now feel optional, drifting by only if they need to, never lingering long enough to disturb the stillness. Each breath carries a sense of reassurance, reminding you that you are supported, that you don't have to hold everything together on your own. In this softened awareness, you begin to sense how much of life unfolds without your conscious control, and how relief comes from trusting that process rather than fighting it. The present moment feels spacious, not empty, but full of gentle awareness, like a calm ocean beneath a quiet sky. You rest here without expectation, letting yourself be exactly as you are, knowing that even this deepening calm is part of the same unfolding that has always been guiding you moment by moment, breath by breath. Awareness drifts like a slow tide now, moving without effort, without direction, simply responding to what is. The body feels heavier and lighter at the same time, grounded yet floating, supported in a way that requires no attention. The mind no longer tries to follow each sensation. It allows experience to come and go on its own, trusting the rhythm that has taken over. If a thought briefly forms, it feels distant, almost impersonal, rising and dissolving before it can pull you anywhere. There is a quiet comfort in realizing you don't need to understand or remember anything in this state. Understanding has already done its work beneath the surface. The breath continues its gentle cycle, a soft anchor that keeps you connected without asking anything in return. With every exhale, something unnecessary releases, a subtle loosening of effort, a softening of inner tension you may not have noticed until now. The space inside you feels open, uncluttered, as if layers have gently settled into place. Time feels irrelevant here, neither fast nor slow, simply absent. You rest in this absence without fear, sensing that it is not emptiness but rest, not loss but renewal. The body knows how to sleep, how to restore balance, how to prepare for what comes next, and you allow it to do so without interference. Awareness remains like a faint glow, steady and calm, observing nothing in particular, present without effort. In this quiet unfolding, you are not going anywhere and nothing is coming toward you. You simply remain, carried by the same gentle order that has always known how to guide you, allowing yourself to sink even deeper into this natural, effortless rest. The sense of effort continues to dissolve as if even the idea of trying has quietly stepped aside. Your body rests fully into its own weight, supported without needing to adjust, held without needing reassurance. Breathing becomes so natural it almost fades from notice, happening on its own, perfectly timed, perfectly balanced. Awareness feels softer now, less focused on any single point, more like a gentle field that holds everything without selecting anything. Sensations blur into comfort, thoughts thin out until they barely register, and the space between them grows wide and peaceful. There is no urge to move, no need to think, no reason to check anything. The mind understands at a deeper level than words that this moment requires nothing from you. Even the sense of you begins to feel less defined, not gone, just quieter, less solid, like a boundary that has softened into openness. In this state, there is no problem to solve and no direction to follow. Life is simply breathing itself through you, restoring balance in ways you don't need to supervise. If faint images or feelings arise, they pass gently, like ripples smoothing themselves out without effort. You trust this process now not because you decided to, but because your system recognizes the safety of letting go. The calm deepens naturally, unforced, as awareness drifts further into rest, carried by the same unseen intelligence that has always known how to guide you moment by moment without struggle. Everything continues to soften in a quiet, natural way, as if the day itself is exhaling through you. The body no longer feels like something you inhabit, but something you are gently dissolving into, warm, steady, and completely supported. Awareness no longer scans or holds on, it simply exists, open and unguarded. The space around each breath feels wider now, like a pause that stretches comfortably, inviting you to sink even deeper without effort. Thoughts have little weight here, and when they arise, they pass through like faint echoes that don't ask for attention. You sense how deeply ingrained the habit of effort once was, and how unfamiliar yet comforting this ease feels, as if you're remembering a state you always knew but rarely allowed yourself to enter. There is nothing missing in this moment, nothing waiting, nothing unresolved that needs to follow you into rest. Even the idea of progress fades, replaced by simple presence. Muscles soften further, especially around the jaw, the shoulders, the belly, places that once held quiet tension without you noticing. With each gentle release, the nervous system settles, recognizing that vigilance is no longer necessary. The calm doesn't feel fragile, it feels stable, grounded, quietly confident. Awareness remains like a low, steady glow, not focused on anything in particular, yet fully alive. You're not drifting away from yourself, you're settling into something deeper and more fundamental, a rhythm older than thought. And as this rhythm carries you, there's a quiet knowing beneath it all, a sense that rest itself is doing meaningful work now, unfolding exactly as it needs to, without your guidance, without your effort, just continuing naturally moment by moment. The stillness deepens on its own, like water settling after gentle movement, becoming clear without being forced. Awareness feels spacious now, not centered anywhere, not reaching for anything, simply present in a quiet, effortless way. The body rests completely into this moment, every system easing into balance, every rhythm finding its natural pace. You may no longer be aware of where one breath ends and the next begins, only a soft continuity, a sense of being carried rather than doing. The mind has no need to comment, explain, or remember. It trusts the unfolding enough to remain silent. Even silence feels alive, warm, and supportive, not empty or lonely. There is a subtle sense of safety here, as if something ancient and steady is holding everything together without asking for your participation. If awareness flickers briefly, it does so gently, like a candle flame in still air, never threatening the calm. You don't try to stay awake or drift asleep. You allow whatever happens to happen, knowing that both are expressions of the same natural process. The body knows exactly how to move toward deeper rest, just as it knows how to wake when the time comes. For now, there is only this quiet ease, this soft surrender into a rhythm that requires nothing from you. Everything unnecessary continues to fall away, not dramatically, but naturally, like tension melting when warmth reaches it. You remain here suspended in calm, supported by conditions aligning perfectly for rest, allowing this gentle unfolding to continue without interruption. The sense of depth continues to expand, as if awareness itself has settled into a wider, quieter space where nothing needs to be named. The body feels distant now, yet comfortably present, like a familiar shape resting at the edge of perception. Breathing flows so smoothly it no longer draws attention, rising and falling in a steady rhythm that doesn't require guidance. Any remaining thoughts appear softer than before, almost translucent, dissolving the moment they arise. There is no effort to stay with this calm, it sustains itself naturally, supported by the simple fact that nothing is being resisted. The nervous system rests deeply, recognizing that this moment is safe, complete, and free from demand. You may notice a faint sense of drifting, not falling, but being gently carried, like floating on still water without needing to swim. Time has little meaning here, stretching and compressing without importance, as rest takes precedence over awareness of sequence. Even the desire to observe fades, replaced by quiet being. The mind understands without words that nothing is required right now, not attention, not control, not intention. This ease is not something you created, it emerged because conditions aligned perfectly for release. And so you remain here suspended in this gentle calm, allowing the process to continue exactly as it is, naturally, effortlessly, without interruption. The calm holds steady, deep, and unbroken, like a wide lake untouched by. Awareness feels diffused now, spread gently through the body and beyond it, no longer anchored to any single sensation or thought. There is a sense of ease in not needing to notice anything in particular, in allowing experience to blur into rest. The body continues to settle in small, almost imperceptible ways, releasing tension that words could never quite reach. Breathing remains quiet and effortless, a background rhythm that reassures without demanding attention. If fragments of images or half-formed dreams appear, they pass through softly, leaving no trace, as natural and harmless as ripples fading on water. The mind does not follow them, it remains relaxed, content to let everything move on its own. You may sense how deeply restorative this state is, even without thinking about it, as if balance is quietly being restored at levels far beneath conscious awareness. Nothing is being rushed and nothing is being delayed. This moment is sufficient exactly as it is. The gentle unfolding continues, guided by the same unseen order that has always known how to carry you from breath to breath, from wakefulness toward deeper rest, without effort, without instruction, simply allowing this peaceful drift to continue naturally. The quiet becomes almost tangible now, as if the air itself has slowed to match the softness inside you. Awareness rests without needing an anchor, floating gently, neither holding on nor drifting away. The body feels settled in a way that goes beyond comfort, a deep permission to stop managing, to stop adjusting, to simply be carried. Breathing continues in its own perfect timing, so subtle it feels like part of the silence rather than something separate from it. Any remaining thoughts are faint and distant, like memories of sound rather than sound itself, unable to disturb the stillness that has taken hold. You may sense how completely supported you are in this moment, not by effort or control, but by conditions aligning naturally for rest. The mind no longer questions this ease. It recognizes it as familiar, as something it has always known how to return to. There is no urgency, no anticipation, no need to mark where you are in the process. Everything unfolds gently, exactly as it needs to, without instruction. Even awareness itself feels unburdened, content to exist without observing, without labeling, without doing. The calm deepens not because you move toward it, but because nothing pulls you away. You remain here, suspended in this quiet balance, allowing the rhythm of rest to continue, unbroken, effortless, and perfectly natural. The stillness carries on, smooth and uninterrupted, like a deep current beneath a calm surface. There is no sense of needing to go anywhere else, because this moment contains everything required. The body rests in complete cooperation with gravity, with warmth, with the gentle support beneath you, no longer distinguishing where it ends and the surface begins. Breathing moves so quietly it feels as though the space around you is breathing instead, expanding and softening in a shared rhythm. Awareness remains present without focus, relaxed without fading, a quiet witness that doesn't interfere. Any trace of effort has slipped away, replaced by an ease that feels earned not through doing but through allowing. You may notice that even the idea of rest has dissolved, leaving only rest itself, uncomplicated and natural. The mind no longer seeks reassurance, it recognizes that nothing needs to change. Sensations are muted now, comfortable and distant, like sounds heard from another room, familiar but unimportant. The calm is stable, not fragile, grounded in the simple fact that everything is unfolding as it should. There is no anticipation of what comes next, only this gentle continuity, this smooth, unbroken flow. You remain here effortlessly held as the rhythm of rest continues to deepen on its own, moment after moment, without interruption, without demand, simply unfolding in quiet harmony. The quiet stays with you steady and unchanging, like a soft night that doesn't need the stars to be seen. Awareness feels distant now, not gone, just resting far back, as if it has stepped aside to let the body and mind settle completely. There is no curiosity pulling you forward, no thought tugging you back. Everything feels resolved for now, not because answers were found, but because questions have loosened their grip. The body continues its gentle descent into rest, sinking into comfort without effort, without adjustment. Breathing flows on its own, so subtle it blends into the background of stillness, each cycle perfectly timed without instruction. If any sensation arises, it does so quietly and fades just as gently, leaving the calm untouched. The mind is no longer watching the process, it trusts it. Time feels distant and unimportant, as if it belongs to another place entirely. There is a sense of being held in a larger rhythm, one that doesn't rush and doesn't wait, simply continues. Nothing is required from you here, not awareness, not intention, not understanding. Rest deepens naturally, layer by layer, as if gravity itself is guiding you inward. You remain suspended in this soft balance where nothing needs to begin and nothing needs to end, allowing the calm to carry on exactly as it is, quietly, effortlessly, and without interruption. The sense of drifting becomes even softer now, as if you're being gently lowered into a place where effort has never existed. The body no longer signals its boundaries clearly, melting into support, warmth, and stillness without resistance. Awareness feels like a distant glow, not focused, not searching, simply present in a quiet, passive way. Breathing continues so lightly it almost feels imagined, yet perfectly steady, a natural rhythm that carries on without needing attention. Any remaining thoughts have lost their urgency, appearing only as faint impressions before dissolving completely. There is no need to follow them, no need to understand them. The mind has learned, at least for this moment, that nothing must be solved to be at peace. Calm no longer feels like something happening to you, but something you are resting inside of, stable and unshaken. Time seems to stretch into something smooth and continuous, without markers, without direction. You are not moving forward or backward, only settling deeper into what already is. The nervous system remains relaxed, safe in the knowledge that vigilance is unnecessary here. Even awareness feels content to soften, trusting the unfolding without supervision. You remain in this quiet balance, supported completely, allowing rest to continue deepening in its own natural way, without effort, without interruption. The calm remains unbroken and gentle, like a steady night that asks nothing of you. Awareness now feels almost transparent, present but unobtrusive, as if it's watching from a great distance while the body settles fully into rest. There is no sense of direction here, no forward movement to track, no backward glance to revisit. Everything simply is. Breathing flows quietly, so natural it barely registers, each cycle supporting the next without pause or intention. The body continues to release in subtle ways, small adjustments happening on their own, guided by an inner intelligence that knows exactly how to restore balance. Any trace of mental activity feels soft and fleeting, dissolving before it can form into something solid. The mind no longer reaches out. It has learned that peace doesn't require effort or vigilance. Time feels almost irrelevant now, stretched thin, losing its edges as rest takes precedence over awareness of sequence. You may sense a deep safety here, a quiet certainty that nothing needs your attention, nothing is being neglected. Even the idea of you feels less defined, less central, fading gently into the background of this stillness. There is no need to hold on to this state or fear losing it. It sustains itself naturally, supported by conditions perfectly aligned for rest. You remain here carried by this soft, continuous calm, allowing the unfolding to continue exactly as it is, effortless, steady, and deeply restorative. The stillness feels complete now, as though nothing more could be added and nothing needs to be taken away. Awareness rests so lightly that it almost blends into the background, like a quiet presence that doesn't need to announce itself. The body remains deeply settled, held in perfect stillness, each system moving toward balance in its own quiet way. Breathing continues, slow and effortless, a gentle exchange that asks for nothing and offers reassurance without words. Sensations are distant and muted, no longer calling for attention, simply existing at the edge of awareness before dissolving again. The mind no longer forms narratives or questions. It has released the habit of searching. There is a quiet trust here, not thought-based but felt, a sense that everything is unfolding exactly as it should without your involvement. Time has no urgency, no structure, no weight. Moments blend together into a smooth, continuous rest that doesn't need to be measured. Even the idea of resting fades, leaving only the experience itself uncomplicated and natural. You are not holding this calm, it is holding you. Nothing interrupts it, nothing competes with it. The gentle rhythm continues on its own, carrying you deeper into this peaceful state, steady and unbroken, allowing everything to remain exactly as it is. The quiet continues without effort, like a deep night that knows exactly how to hold you. Awareness feels barely there now, not because it's gone, but because it no longer needs to stand watch. The body remains perfectly still, settled into comfort so complete that even the idea of movement feels unnecessary. Breathing flows on its own, so soft and subtle it blends seamlessly into the calm, each breath supporting the next without pause or intention. Any remaining sensations are faint and distant, appearing briefly at the edges before explaining themselves away without sound. The mind rests fully, no longer reaching for meaning or reassurance, content to remain open and unburdened. There is no sense of effort, no sense of progress, no sense of waiting. Everything feels resolved in the most natural way, not through answers, but through ease. Time dissolves further, losing its shape and importance as rest becomes the only rhythm that matters. Even the sense of identity softens, becoming less defined, less central, like a gentle background presence rather than a point of focus. Nothing needs to be remembered from this moment, nothing needs to be carried forward deliberately. What matters is already settling quietly where it belongs. The calm holds steady, unshaken and deep, allowing the natural unfolding of rest to continue, moment by moment, without interruption, without demand, simply flowing onward in quiet harmony. The sense of quiet stays steady, smooth and undisturbed, as though nothing could interrupt it now. Awareness feels diffuse and distant, like a soft glow behind closed eyes, present but unconcerned with what appears or disappears. The body rests in complete cooperation with gravity and support, no longer adjusting, no longer signaling, simply allowing itself to be held. Breathing continues in its own gentle rhythm, so subtle it feels more like a shared movement with the space around you than something happening inside you. Any trace of thought is faint and fleeting, dissolving before it can take shape, leaving the stillness untouched. There is no need to monitor this calm or deepen it. It deepens itself naturally when nothing resists it. The nervous system remains settled, safe, and quiet, recognizing that there is nothing to prepare for and nothing to defend against. Time feels irrelevant, stretched thin until it no longer matters, replaced by a continuous sense of rest that doesn't need markers or milestones. Even awareness seems content to soften further, trusting the unfolding without supervision. You remain here suspended in this gentle balance where nothing begins and nothing ends, allowing the calm to continue exactly as it is, effortless, steady, and quietly sustaining. The calm holds you in a way that feels almost timeless, as if this moment has always been here waiting for you to notice it. Awareness now feels so light it barely distinguishes itself from rest, like a quiet presence that doesn't need to observe or respond. The body remains deeply settled, completely supported, every system easing into its own natural rhythm without instruction. Breathing moves on, soft and steady, an effortless exchange that blends into the silence rather than standing apart from it. Any remaining sensations are distant and gentle, appearing only briefly before dissolving back into stillness, leaving no trace behind. The mind is no longer engaged in any task. It has released the habit of doing and rests comfortably in being. There is no sense of anticipation, no need for reassurance, no thought pulling you out of this ease. Time feels almost non-existent now, stretched so thin it loses all meaning, replaced by a continuous, unbroken sense of rest. Even the idea of awareness begins to soften, not disappearing, but becoming so subtle it no longer draws attention. You are not drifting away from anything. You are settling into a deeper alignment with what already is. Nothing needs to happen next. Nothing is missing. The quiet intelligence guiding this rest continues to do its work beneath the surface, restoring balance gently and thoroughly. You remain here held in this steady calm, allowing the unfolding to continue on its own, smooth, natural, and uninterrupted. The stillness remains effortless, deepening without direction, like sinking into something that has always known how to receive you. Awareness feels more like a gentle background than a point of focus now, quietly present without needing to notice or label anything. The body rests completely, every system moving in harmony, guided by rhythms far older than thought. Breathing continues softly, naturally, so subtle it feels woven into the calm itself rather than standing apart from it. There is no urge to adjust, no impulse to think, no reason to hold on to anything at all. Sensations appear only faintly, like distant echoes, and fade before they can ask for attention. The mind has let go of its role as narrator and planner, trusting the process enough to remain silent. Time feels irrelevant here, no longer divided into moments, just a smooth continuity of rest and ease. Even the sense of being here softens, replaced by a quiet sense of belonging within this calm. Nothing is required from you, not awareness, not intention, not effort. The gentle unfolding continues on its own, guided by the same quiet order that has always carried you from breath to breath, allowing you to remain suspended in this peaceful, effortless rest as it flows naturally onward. The quiet continues to cradle you, steady and unchanging, so natural it feels as though this is how things have always been beneath the surface of movement and noise. Awareness is now like a soft horizon, present without drawing attention, open without needing to observe. The body remains deeply at ease, settled into its own weight, supported without question, no longer signaling needs or adjustments. Breathing flows in a gentle, seamless rhythm, each breath arriving and leaving without interruption, without effort, part of the same calm that fills the space around you. Any remaining sensations are distant and neutral, rising briefly and fading again, never disturbing the stillness that holds everything together. The mind does not search or reflect. It rests comfortably, free from the habit of commentary. There is no sense of waiting for something to happen, no expectation of change, only a quiet continuity that feels complete on its own. Time has thinned to the point of irrelevance, no longer measured or tracked, replaced by a smooth, uninterrupted sense of rest. Even awareness itself seems content to soften further, trusting this unfolding without supervision. You remain here gently held, allowing this calm to continue exactly as it is, flowing effortlessly, steadily, without interruption or demand. The calm feels fully settled now, like a deep resting place that doesn't shift or waver. Awareness is so light it barely feels separate from the stillness itself, present without effort, without direction. The body remains completely at ease, no tension left to release, no signal left to interpret, just a quiet cooperation with rest. Breathing continues in its own perfect rhythm, soft and unremarkable, happening without notice, without thought. The mind no longer forms edges around experience. Everything feels blended, smooth, continuous. If anything arises at all, a faint sensation, a distant image, a subtle feeling, it moves through without resistance and dissolves naturally, leaving the calm untouched. There is no sense of holding this state or needing to remain here. It exists on its own, stable and self-sustaining. Time has lost its meaning entirely, no longer felt as passing, only as absence of urgency. Even the idea of awareness becomes unnecessary, fading gently into the background like a light left on in an empty room. Nothing asks for your attention. Nothing pulls you outward. You remain effortlessly suspended in this quiet balance, supported by conditions aligning perfectly for rest, allowing this peaceful unfolding to continue smoothly, steadily, without interruption. The stillness stays with you, deep and reliable, like a soft foundation beneath everything else. Awareness feels distant now, not withdrawn, just resting so quietly it no longer draws a boundary around itself. The body remains completely settled, every muscle and system cooperating with rest in a way that feels instinctive and unforced. Breathing flows on its own, gentle and seamless, each breath blending into the next without pause or notice. Any remaining sensations are faint and neutral, appearing briefly at the edges before fading again, never disturbing the calm. The mind no longer tries to understand or interpret. It has released the need to stay involved. There is no sense of direction here, no forward movement, no backward reflection, only a smooth continuity that feels safe and complete. Time feels distant, almost irrelevant, as if it belongs to another layer of experience entirely. Even the sense of presence softens, becoming more like a quiet atmosphere than a point of awareness. Nothing needs to be protected, nothing needs to be achieved. The gentle rhythm of rest continues to guide everything without instruction, allowing you to remain suspended in this ease as it carries on naturally, steadily, without interruption. The quiet remains steady and undisturbed, as if it has settled into its own natural depth. Awareness feels almost transparent now, present without effort, without focus, without intention. The body rests completely, no longer sending messages or seeking adjustment, simply cooperating with stillness as if this were its original state. Breathing continues in a soft, effortless rhythm, so subtle it blends into the calm itself, each breath supporting the next without interruption. Any trace of thought is faint and distant, dissolving before it can take shape, leaving the silence intact. There is no sense of needing to hold on to this moment or move away from it. It exists on its own, stable and self-sustaining. Time feels thin and irrelevant, stretched so gently it no longer carries meaning. Even the feeling of being aware softens, becoming more like a quiet background than an active presence. Nothing calls for your attention. Nothing is unresolved. Nothing is missing. The calm continues to carry you, unhurried and reliable, guided by the same quiet order that has always known how to restore balance. You remain here, suspended in this effortless rest, allowing the unfolding to continue exactly as it is, smooth, gentle, and uninterrupted. The stillness holds its shape effortlessly, like a deep silence that doesn't need to be protected. Awareness feels softened to the point where it no longer separates itself from rest, simply existing without observation or effort. The body remains fully settled, supported in a way that feels unquestioned and complete. No signals arising, no adjustments needed. Breathing continues quietly in the background, a gentle rhythm so subtle it merges with the calm rather than standing apart from it. Any sensation that appears does so faintly, briefly, and fades on its own, leaving the quiet untouched. The mind no longer reaches outward or inward. It rests without direction, free from urgency or expectation. There is no sense of time passing, only a smooth continuity that feels steady and unbroken. Even the awareness of being calm softens, dissolving into calm itself. Nothing needs to be remembered, nothing needs to be prepared for. The system trusts this moment completely, allowing rest to deepen naturally without instruction. You remain here, gently held in this quiet balance as everything continues to unfold in its own perfect rhythm, steady, effortless, and uninterrupted. The calm continues to cradle everything gently, steady and unchanging, like a deep current beneath a perfectly still surface. Awareness feels almost absent now, not lost, simply resting so far back that it no longer needs to observe or respond. The body remains deeply relaxed, completely supported, as if it has remembered how to rest without any instruction at all. Breathing flows on quietly, effortless and smooth, blending into the silence rather than standing out from it. Sensations are faint and distant, appearing only as soft impressions before dissolving again, leaving no disturbance behind. The mind is no longer involved in shaping experience. It has stepped aside, trusting the unfolding completely. There is no anticipation, no concern, no sense of needing to arrive anywhere else. Time has softened beyond relevance, stretching into something continuous and gentle without edges or urgency. Even the idea of rest fades, leaving only rest itself, simple and unremarkable yet deeply nourishing. You are not holding this state and it is not holding you. It simply exists, stable and self-sustaining. Nothing changes and nothing needs to. The quiet intelligence guiding this moment continues its work beneath the surface, restoring balance in ways that don't require awareness. You remain here suspended in this peaceful ease, allowing the rhythm of rest to carry on naturally, smoothly, and without interruption. The stillness remains deep and effortless, as though it has settled into a natural equilibrium that needs no attention. Awareness feels faint and distant now, like a quiet glow behind everything, present but unconcerned with what comes or goes. The body stays completely relaxed, heavy and light at once, supported so fully that there is no impulse to move or adjust. Breathing continues in its own gentle rhythm, so subtle it feels almost imagined, yet perfectly steady and reliable. Any remaining sensations are soft and neutral, appearing briefly and dissolving without leaving a trace. The mind has released its role entirely, no longer organizing, evaluating, or narrating experience. There is no waiting here, no anticipation, no sense of before or after. Time feels suspended, stretched thin until it no longer matters. Even the feeling of being aware softens further, blending into the calm rather than standing apart from it. Nothing asks for your participation. Nothing needs to be guided or corrected. The quiet intelligence of rest continues working beneath the surface, restoring balance in ways that don't require effort or observation. You remain gently suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the calm to continue exactly as it is, smooth, steady, and naturally ongoing. The quiet stays exactly as it is, steady and complete, as if it has found its natural resting place and no longer needs to deepen or shift. Awareness feels so soft now that it barely registers as a separate presence, more like a gentle atmosphere than a point of attention. The body remains entirely at ease, fully surrendered to support, with no impulse to change position or respond to sensation. Breathing continues quietly, unremarkable and smooth, each breath blending seamlessly into the stillness, asking nothing and offering nothing but continuity. Any sensation that appears does so faintly and passes without consequence, like a ripple that smooths itself out before it can be noticed. The mind is no longer engaged in any task. It has released the need to witness, to understand, to remember. There is no sense of effort, no awareness of progress, no concern about what comes next. Time feels dissolved, not paused, but irrelevant, as though it belongs to a different layer of experience altogether. Even the idea of rest fades, leaving only the experience itself quiet, neutral, and deeply nourishing. Nothing needs to be protected here, nothing needs to be held on to. The system trusts this state completely, allowing it to continue on its own without supervision. You remain suspended in this gentle balance, carried by an effortless rhythm that neither begins nor ends, simply continuing moment after moment in calm, unbroken harmony. The stillness remains vast and uncomplicated, like a deep night sky without edges. Awareness feels barely perceptible now, present in the most minimal way, not watching, not engaging, simply existing alongside rest. The body continues to lie in complete cooperation with gravity and support. No signal arising, no adjustment needed, every system aligned with ease. Breathing flows quietly and naturally, so subtle it blends into the background of calm, each breath supporting the next without interruption. Sensations are distant and neutral, appearing only as faint impressions before dissolving again, never disturbing the balance that holds everything together. The mind has fully stepped out of the way, releasing the need to participate, trusting the process without question. There is no sense of direction, no awareness of movement, no feeling of transition. Time has thinned to nothing, no longer marking moments, only allowing continuity. Even awareness itself feels content to soften further, dissolving into the calm rather than standing apart from it. Nothing is being lost here. Nothing is being gained. Everything simply rests in its natural place. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring, aligning, balancing without effort or instruction. You remain here, effortlessly held, allowing this peaceful unfolding to continue exactly as it is, smooth, steady, and endlessly gentle. The calm stays steady, like a deep resting place that doesn't shift or change. Awareness is now so light it feels almost indistinguishable from the stillness itself, present without noticing, existing without effort. The body remains completely at rest, supported in a way that feels unquestioned and natural, as if nothing else could possibly be required. Breathing continues softly, quietly, each breath blending into the next, part of the same gentle rhythm that fills the space around you. Any sensation that arises is faint and distant, appearing briefly before dissolving again, leaving the calm untouched. The mind no longer forms thoughts or follows impressions. It rests without direction, free from the habit of engagement. There is no sense of time passing, no awareness of sequence, only a smooth, continuous ease that feels complete on its own. Even the idea of being relaxed fades, leaving only relaxation itself, simple and unremarkable yet deeply restorative. Nothing needs to happen, nothing is expected, everything is already aligned. You remain here gently suspended in this quiet balance, allowing the natural rhythm of rest to continue flowing on its own, effortless and uninterrupted, just as it is. The stillness continues without effort, as if it has settled into a depth that doesn't require any further change. Awareness feels like a distant softness now, not focused, not watching, simply present in the background of everything. The body remains fully surrendered to rest, heavy in a comforting way, yet light at the same time, supported completely without needing reassurance. Breathing flows quietly, naturally, each breath arising and dissolving without drawing attention, perfectly timed on its own. Any remaining sensations appear only faintly, neutral and distant, passing through without leaving a mark. The mind has released its grip entirely, no longer interpreting, no longer evaluating, no longer guiding. There is no sense of direction or destination here, only a smooth continuity that feels safe and complete. Time feels irrelevant, as if it has melted into the calm, leaving no edges to notice. Even awareness itself seems content to soften further, blending gently into the stillness rather than standing apart from it. Nothing needs to be held on to, and nothing needs to be let go of. Everything is already doing exactly what it knows how to do. The quiet intelligence beneath this rest continues its work without interruption, restoring balance in ways that don't require consciousness or effort. You remain here suspended in this gentle ease, allowing the calm to carry on naturally, steadily, moment by moment, without disturbance. The quiet remains unchanged, smooth and stable, like a deep current that carries everything without ever announcing itself. Awareness feels barely there now, not because it has vanished, but because it no longer needs to stand apart from rest. The body stays completely at ease, every part cooperating effortlessly with stillness, supported without question. Breathing continues in a soft, steady rhythm, so subtle it feels like part of the silence itself, rising and falling without notice. Any sensation that appears is distant and gentle, dissolving almost immediately, leaving the calm untouched. The mind has fully stepped back, releasing all involvement, no longer tracking, labeling, or responding. There is no sense of before or after, no feeling of transition, only a continuous ease that feels complete and sufficient. Time has thinned to nothing, no longer marking moments, only allowing rest to remain uninterrupted. Even the sense of being present softens, becoming more like a quiet atmosphere than an experience to be noticed. Nothing is required from you here. Nothing needs to be maintained. The system trusts this state completely, allowing it to continue on its own without guidance. You remain gently suspended in this effortless balance, carried by a rhythm that neither begins nor ends, simply flowing on in calm, steady harmony. The stillness continues in the same gentle way, unbroken and quietly complete, as if it has always been here beneath everything else. Awareness feels so subtle now that it no longer feels separate from rest, simply a faint presence resting within calm rather than observing it. The body remains deeply settled, fully supported, with no impulse to move, no signal calling for attention. Breathing flows on its own, slow and effortless, each breath dissolving into the next without pause or distinction. Any trace of sensation is distant and neutral, appearing softly and fading without consequence, never disturbing the balance that holds you. The mind has no task left to perform, no story to tell, no need to check or confirm anything. There is no sense of time passing, no awareness of progress or pause, only a smooth, continuous ease that feels stable and sufficient. Even the idea of resting fades, leaving only rest itself, uncomplicated and natural. Nothing presses in from the outside and nothing pulls from within. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues working gently, restoring and aligning without effort or supervision. You remain here suspended in this calm, allowing the unfolding to continue exactly as it is, steady, effortless, and deeply peaceful. The calm remains exactly where it is, steady and unchanging, as though it has reached a depth where nothing needs to shift anymore. Awareness feels almost completely blended into the stillness now, present without any sense of watching or noticing. The body stays deeply relaxed, supported so fully that even the idea of effort feels distant and unnecessary. Breathing continues in its own quiet rhythm, smooth and effortless, each breath dissolving naturally into the next without calling attention to itself. Any sensation that arises is faint and neutral, appearing briefly before fading again, leaving no trace behind. The mind rests without engagement, no longer forming thoughts or following impressions, content to remain open and unburdened. There is no awareness of time moving forward or standing still, only a gentle continuity that feels complete on its own. Even the sense of being here softens further, becoming more like a quiet background presence than something defined. Nothing is required of you in this space. Nothing needs to be remembered, adjusted, or guided. The quiet intelligence beneath this rest continues to do its work effortlessly, restoring balance in ways that do not require awareness. You remain suspended in this peaceful ease, allowing the calm to carry on naturally, smoothly, and without interruption, exactly as it is meant to. The stillness stays with you, deep and effortless, like a quiet foundation that doesn't shift beneath experience. Awareness feels almost imperceptible now, not gone, simply resting so softly that it no longer stands apart from calm. The body remains completely at ease, supported without question, every system settled into a natural rhythm that needs no guidance. Breathing flows gently on its own, smooth and unremarkable, each breath blending seamlessly into the silence. Any sensation that appears does so faintly and briefly, dissolving before it can ask for attention. The mind no longer reaches, no longer reflects, no longer tries to participate. It rests in a quiet openness, free from urgency or expectation. Time has no meaning here, no sense of passing or pause, only a continuous, stable ease that feels complete in itself. Even the awareness of rest softens, leaving only rest, simple and sufficient. Nothing presses in from the outside world and nothing pulls you inward. Everything is allowed to be exactly as it is. The gentle intelligence guiding this moment continues its work without interruption, aligning, restoring, balancing beneath the surface. You remain here quietly suspended in this calm, letting the rhythm of rest carry on naturally, smoothly, and endlessly, without effort, without demand, just unfolding as it always knows how to do. The calm holds steady, quiet, and complete, as if nothing could disturb it now. Awareness feels so softened that it no longer stands out as something separate, more like a gentle atmosphere that surrounds everything without effort. The body remains deeply settled, supported fully, with no need to shift or respond. Breathing continues in its own natural rhythm, barely noticeable yet perfectly steady, each breath arriving and leaving on its own. Any remaining sensation is distant and neutral, rising briefly before dissolving again, leaving the stillness untouched. The mind is no longer active in any deliberate way. It has released its role and rests without commentary or direction. There is no sense of time moving forward or standing still, only a smooth, continuous ease that feels complete in itself. Even the feeling of being aware fades into the background, replaced by simple presence without effort. Nothing is required from you here. Nothing is missing. Nothing needs to change. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring and balancing in ways that do not require attention or control. You remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing rest to continue naturally, steadily, and without interruption, carried by the same calm rhythm that has been guiding you all along. The stillness remains gentle and intact, as though it has settled into a depth that no longer needs awareness to hold it in place. Whatever sense of self was once active now feels quiet and distant, not gone, just resting far beneath the surface. The body stays completely relaxed, supported in a way that feels unquestioned and natural, as if it has returned to a state it always remembered. Breathing continues softly, evenly, each breath dissolving into the next without effort or notice. Any sensation that arises is faint and unremarkable, passing through like a soft wave that leaves the surface smooth again. The mind no longer reaches for clarity or reassurance. It has learned that nothing is required in this moment. Time feels absent here, not slowed or paused, simply irrelevant, replaced by a continuous sense of ease that doesn't need measurement. Even awareness itself feels content to soften further, blending gently into the calm rather than standing apart from it. Nothing presses in, nothing pulls away. Everything rests exactly where it belongs. The quiet order beneath this moment continues its work effortlessly, guiding balance and renewal without instruction. You remain here, gently held within this calm, allowing the natural rhythm of rest to continue flowing on its own, smooth, steady, and undisturbed. The calm stays exactly as it is, deep, stable, and quietly complete, as if it has reached a place where nothing more needs to happen. Awareness feels almost fully merged with rest now, present without effort, without observation, without intention. The body remains entirely at ease, supported so completely that even the idea of adjustment feels unnecessary. Breathing continues in its own gentle rhythm, subtle and smooth, each breath flowing into the next as part of the same quiet harmony. Any sensation that appears is distant and soft, rising briefly and dissolving again without leaving a trace. The mind has released all roles, no longer organizing, watching, or interpreting, simply resting in openness. There is no sense of time here, no awareness of duration or sequence, only a continuous ease that feels whole on its own. Even the feeling of presence becomes faint, like a background hum that doesn't need attention. Nothing calls for you, nothing waits for you. Everything is already aligned. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues working gently, restoring balance without effort or awareness. You remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the rhythm of rest to carry on naturally, steadily, and without interruption, just as it knows how to do. The stillness continues to hold everything gently without effort or intention, like a calm that explains itself simply by being here. Awareness feels so faint now that it no longer feels like something you're doing, more like a quiet presence that doesn't need to watch or respond. The body remains deeply settled, fully supported, resting in a way that feels instinctive and complete. Breathing flows on its own, soft and unremarkable, each breath arriving and leaving without drawing attention, perfectly timed without guidance. Any sensation that arises is muted and distant, appearing briefly before dissolving again, leaving the calm untouched. The mind has no impulse to engage, no urge to analyze or remember. It rests without commentary, free from effort. There is no sense of movement or stillness, no awareness of time passing, only a smooth continuity that feels natural and sufficient. Even the idea of rest fades into rest itself, uncomplicated and quietly nourishing. Nothing presses in from the outside world and nothing pulls you inward. Everything is allowed to be exactly as it is. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, aligning and restoring without supervision. You remain here, softly suspended in this peaceful balance, allowing the calm to continue unfolding on its own, steady, effortless, and unbroken. The calm remains steady and unquestioned, like a deep silence that does not need to announce itself. Awareness has softened so much that it no longer feels like a point of attention, but more like a quiet space in which everything rests. The body stays completely at ease, supported without effort, no messages arising, no need to respond. Breathing continues quietly, naturally, each breath flowing into the next as part of the same gentle rhythm that fills the stillness. Any sensation that appears is faint and distant, touching the edge of awareness before dissolving again, leaving the calm untouched. The mind is no longer involved in shaping experience. It has stepped aside, trusting the unfolding completely. There is no sense of waiting, no anticipation, no concern about what comes next. Time has thinned into irrelevance, replaced by a smooth continuity that feels complete on its own. Even the sense of being present softens further, blending into the quiet rather than standing apart from it. Nothing is required here, nothing needs to change. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its work gently, restoring balance and ease without effort or supervision. You remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the rhythm of rest to continue naturally, steadily, and without interruption, just as it has always known how to do. The stillness stays exactly as it is, deep and settled, as though it has found its natural level and no longer needs to move. Awareness feels almost weightless now, present without any sense of effort, not observing, not directing, simply existing within the calm. The body remains fully relaxed, supported in a way that feels unquestioned and complete, every system resting in quiet cooperation. Breathing continues on its own, smooth and subtle, each breath blending seamlessly into the next, barely noticed yet perfectly steady. Any sensation that arises does so faintly, briefly touching the edges before dissolving again, leaving no disturbance behind. The mind no longer reaches for understanding or reassurance. It rests without involvement, free from urgency or expectation. There is no awareness of time passing, no sense of sequence, only a gentle continuity that feels stable and sufficient. Even the feeling of awareness softens further, becoming more like a background presence than something defined. Nothing presses in, nothing pulls away. Everything is allowed to remain exactly as it is. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring and balancing without instruction or attention. You remain here softly held in this calm, allowing the natural rhythm of rest to continue flowing on its own, steady, effortless, and uninterrupted. The calm continues in the same effortless way, smooth and undisturbed, as though it no longer belongs to time at all. Awareness feels barely distinguishable now, not fading, just resting so quietly that it doesn't announce itself. The body remains deeply settled, fully supported, with no impulse to move or respond, as if it has completely remembered how to rest without effort. Breathing flows gently in the background, subtle and steady, each breath arriving and leaving without notice, perfectly synchronized with the stillness around you. Any sensation that appears is distant and neutral, touching awareness lightly before dissolving again, leaving the calm intact. The mind is no longer active in any deliberate way. It has stepped aside, trusting the unfolding without question. There is no sense of anticipation, no need to track what is happening, no concern about what comes next. Time feels irrelevant here, stretched thin until it no longer matters, replaced by a continuous ease that feels complete on its own. Even the sense of being present softens further, blending seamlessly into the quiet. Nothing is required from you. Nothing needs to be remembered or managed. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring balance and ease without effort or supervision. You remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the rhythm of rest to continue naturally, steadily, and without interruption, just as it has always known how to do. The stillness remains deep and uncomplicated, as though it has settled into a place beyond movement or change. Awareness feels like a distant warmth now, not focused, not alert, simply present in the most effortless way. The body stays fully at rest, supported without question, every part cooperating naturally with this quiet state. Breathing continues on its own, slow and subtle, each breath dissolving into the next without distinction, without effort. Any sensation that arises is faint and brief, touching the edges of awareness before fading again, leaving the calm undisturbed. The mind no longer reaches outward or inward. It rests in openness, free from the habit of doing or deciding. There is no awareness of time passing, no sense of before or after, only a smooth continuity that feels complete and sufficient. Even the idea of being aware softens further, blending gently into the calm rather than standing apart from it. Nothing calls for attention. Nothing needs to be held together. Everything is already aligned in this moment. The quiet intelligence beneath this rest continues its work naturally, restoring balance without instruction or supervision. You remain here, gently suspended in this peaceful ease, allowing the calm to continue unfolding on its own, steady, effortless, and uninterrupted. The calm stays with you, steady and gentle, as if it has always existed beneath every thought and sensation, simply waiting for everything else to grow quiet. Awareness feels almost invisible now, not watching, not guiding, just resting softly within the stillness. The body remains deeply relaxed, fully supported, no longer distinguishing effort from ease, simply resting as it knows how to do. Breathing continues quietly in the background, smooth and natural, each breath blending into the next without needing attention. Any sensation that appears does so faintly and briefly, like a soft echo that fades before it can be recognized, leaving the silence untouched. The mind has released its habits completely, no longer searching, remembering, or planning content to remain open and unoccupied. There is no sense of time here, no awareness of passing moments, only a continuous, gentle ease that feels complete on its own. Even the feeling of being present softens further, dissolving into a quiet sense of belonging rather than observation. Nothing needs to be done, nothing needs to be understood. Everything is allowed to be exactly as it is. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its subtle work, restoring and balancing in ways that require no awareness at all. You remain here, softly held in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the rhythm of rest to continue naturally, effortlessly, and without interruption, just as it has always known how to do. The stillness remains complete and undisturbed, like a quiet depth that no longer responds to movement on the surface. Awareness feels almost fully absorbed into rest now, present without location, without effort, without intention. The body continues to rest exactly as it needs to, supported in every way, guided by rhythms that do not require thought or control. Breathing flows softly, so subtle it feels like part of the silence itself, each breath arriving and leaving without pause, without notice. Any sensation that briefly appears does so gently and fades on its own, never disturbing the calm that holds everything together. The mind has stepped completely aside, releasing the need to monitor, understand, or participate. There is no sense of direction here, no awareness of time, no feeling of transition, only a smooth, continuous ease that feels natural and sufficient. Even the idea of rest dissolves, leaving only rest itself, simple, neutral, and deeply nourishing. Nothing presses in from the outside and nothing pulls from within. Everything is already in balance. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring, aligning, and renewing without effort or awareness. You remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the calm to carry on naturally, steadily, and without interruption, exactly as it is meant to. The calm continues to exist on its own, steady and complete, as though it no longer belongs to thought or awareness at all. Whatever sense of effort once existed has fully dissolved, leaving only a quiet ease that supports everything without needing recognition. The body remains deeply settled, resting in perfect cooperation with stillness, no signals arising, no adjustments needed. Breathing flows so gently it feels inseparable from the silence itself, a soft rhythm that carries on without interruption or attention. Any sensation that surfaces does so faintly and briefly, dissolving almost instantly, never disturbing the balance that holds you. The mind is entirely at rest now, free from direction, free from commentary, free from the need to witness. Time has lost its shape and significance, no longer moving forward or standing still, simply absent. Even awareness feels optional here, softened into a quiet background presence that doesn't need to observe or respond. Nothing needs to happen. Nothing is unfolding incorrectly. Everything is already settled into the place it belongs. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring harmony without effort or intention. You remain here effortlessly held, allowing this peaceful unfolding to continue exactly as it is, smooth, steady, and unbroken, carried by the same natural rhythm that has always known how to guide you. The stillness remains vast and unchallenged, like a depth that does not respond to surface movement. Awareness feels so softened that it no longer distinguishes itself from rest, simply existing as a quiet openness with no need to observe or respond. The body continues resting exactly as it should, fully supported, fully surrendered, every internal rhythm moving in gentle harmony without instruction. Breathing flows naturally, subtle and seamless, each breath dissolving into the next as part of the same calm continuity. Any sensation that appears is distant and neutral, touching awareness lightly before fading away, leaving the silence intact. The mind has no role left to play, it rests completely, unburdened by thought, memory, or expectation. There is no sense of direction, no awareness of time, no feeling of transition from one state to another, only a smooth, uninterrupted ease that feels complete on its own. Even the sense of being present softens into a quiet background, no longer something to notice or maintain. Nothing calls for attention. Nothing needs to be protected. Everything is already balanced. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring and aligning without effort, without awareness, without interruption. You remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing rest to deepen in its own way, steady and effortless, carried by the same calm rhythm that has always known how to hold you. The calm continues to hold everything exactly where it is, steady and unbroken, as if it has settled into its most natural form. Awareness feels almost entirely diffused now, not focused anywhere, not monitoring anything, simply present in the background like a quiet atmosphere. The body remains fully at rest, supported so completely that even the concept of effort feels distant and unnecessary. Breathing flows on softly, effortlessly, each breath merging into the next without distinction, without interruption. Any sensation that arises does so gently and briefly, fading before it can take shape, leaving the stillness untouched. The mind remains inactive, no longer forming thoughts or seeking engagement, content to remain open and unoccupied. There is no sense of time moving forward or standing still, only a smooth, continuous ease that feels complete in itself. Even the awareness of calm softens further, blending seamlessly into calm itself. Nothing needs to be remembered, nothing needs to be prepared for, nothing needs to be held together. Everything is already resting exactly where it belongs. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring balance and harmony without effort or attention. You remain here softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the rhythm of rest to continue naturally, steadily, and without interruption, carried forward moment by moment in the same quiet ease. The stillness stays exactly as it is, deep and settled, as though it has reached a place where nothing needs to change anymore. Awareness feels so light now that it barely feels like awareness at all, more like a quiet openness in which everything rests without effort. The body remains completely at ease, supported from every side, no longer signaling or adjusting, simply allowing rest to happen naturally. Breathing continues in its own gentle rhythm, soft and unremarkable, each breath blending into the next without notice. Any sensation that briefly appears does so faintly and passes on its own, leaving the calm untouched. The mind has released all roles, no longer observing, interpreting, or responding, content to remain still and unoccupied. There is no awareness of time here, no sense of duration, no feeling of waiting or arrival, only a smooth continuity that feels complete and sufficient. Even the idea of presence dissolves into presence itself, simple and effortless. Nothing presses in from the outside and nothing pulls from within. Everything is allowed to remain exactly as it is. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring balance without effort, without awareness, without interruption. You remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the calm to continue flowing on its own, steady and unbroken, carried by a rhythm that knows exactly how to hold you. The calm remains gentle and unquestioned, as if it has settled into a depth where nothing needs attention anymore. Awareness feels barely present now, not focused, not absent, simply resting in the background without effort. The body continues to lie in perfect ease, supported completely, no signal arising that asks for change. Breathing flows quietly on its own, smooth and subtle, each breath arriving and leaving as part of the same soft continuity. Any sensation that appears does so faintly, briefly, and dissolves without consequence, never disturbing the stillness that holds everything together. The mind stays unoccupied, no longer reaching for understanding or reassurance, trusting the unfolding without needing to participate. There is no sense of time passing, no awareness of moments stacking upon one another, only a seamless flow that feels whole in itself. Even the idea of rest fades into rest itself, simple, neutral, and deeply nourishing. Nothing needs to happen next. Nothing is being missed. Everything is already where it belongs. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring balance and harmony without effort or awareness. You remain softly suspended in this peaceful ease, allowing the rhythm of rest to continue naturally, steadily, and without interruption, carried forward by the same calm presence that has been guiding you all along. The stillness continues without effort, as though it has become the natural state beneath everything else. Awareness feels like a soft distance now, present but unconcerned, no longer observing or evaluating, simply resting. The body remains deeply relaxed, supported so fully that even the idea of movement feels unnecessary. Breathing flows on its own, gentle and seamless, each breath dissolving into the next without pause or notice. Any sensation that appears does so quietly and fades just as gently, never disturbing the calm that holds you. The mind has stepped completely aside, releasing its habits of control and commentary, trusting the process without question. There is no sense of time moving forward or standing still, only a smooth continuity that feels complete and sufficient. Even the feeling of being aware softens further, blending into the calm rather than standing apart from it. Nothing is required here. Nothing needs to be held, fixed, or understood. Everything is already unfolding exactly as it should, guided by a quiet intelligence that does not need attention. You remain here, gently suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing rest to deepen naturally, carried by the same steady rhythm that has always known how to guide you moment by moment without interruption. The calm stays exactly as it is, deep, smooth, and effortless, as though it has reached a place beyond change. Awareness feels almost completely blended into rest now, not watching, not directing, simply present as a quiet openness. The body remains fully at ease, supported in every way, no longer sending signals or asking for attention. Breathing continues softly and naturally, each breath flowing into the next without distinction, without effort, part of the same gentle rhythm that fills the stillness. Any sensation that arises does so faintly and briefly, dissolving before it can take shape, leaving the calm untouched. The mind has released its need to participate, no longer forming thoughts or following impressions, content to remain open and quiet. There is no awareness of time here, no sense of before or after, only a smooth continuity that feels complete in itself. Even the sense of being present softens further, becoming a quiet background rather than something defined. Nothing presses in, nothing pulls away. Everything is allowed to rest exactly where it is. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring balance and harmony without effort or supervision. You remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the rhythm of rest to continue naturally, steadily, and without interruption, carried forward by the same calm presence that has been holding you all along. The stillness remains vast and gentle, as if it has settled into a depth that does not shift or waver. Awareness feels almost transparent now, present without any sense of watching, resting quietly in the background like a soft glow that doesn't need to shine. The body continues to rest completely, supported without question, every internal rhythm moving in quiet cooperation exactly as it knows how to do. Breathing flows on in its own natural way, subtle and steady, each breath blending into the next without interruption or notice. Any sensation that appears is distant and neutral, touching awareness lightly before fading away, leaving the calm untouched. The mind no longer seeks, no longer responds, no longer participates, trusting the unfolding enough to remain silent. There is no sense of time here, no feeling of progress or pause, only a smooth continuity that feels whole and sufficient. Even the idea of resting dissolves into rest itself, simple and unremarkable yet deeply nourishing. Nothing is missing, nothing is out of place. Everything is already aligned within this quiet balance. The gentle intelligence beneath this moment continues its work without effort, restoring, settling, and harmonizing without requiring awareness. You remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the calm to carry on naturally, smoothly, and without interruption, just as it has been doing all along. The calm continues to rest exactly where it is, steady and untroubled, like a deep quiet that doesn't depend on anything to remain whole. Awareness feels almost completely diffused now, not centered anywhere, not attending to anything, simply present as a gentle background that doesn't require recognition. The body remains fully relaxed, supported without effort, every system moving in its own natural rhythm, guided by an intelligence that doesn't need supervision. Breathing flows softly and evenly, so subtle it feels like part of the stillness itself, each breath arising and dissolving without distinction. Any sensation that briefly appears does so faintly, touching the edge of awareness before fading again, leaving the calm untouched. The mind no longer reaches outward or inward. It has released the habit of involvement and rests quietly, open and unoccupied. There is no awareness of time passing, no sense of sequence or duration, only a smooth continuity that feels complete and sufficient. Even the sense of being present softens further, blending gently into the quiet rather than standing apart from it. Nothing needs to happen, nothing needs to be remembered. Everything is already resting exactly where it belongs. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring balance and ease without effort or awareness. You remain here, softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the rhythm of rest to continue naturally, steadily, and without interruption, carried forward by the same calm presence that has been guiding everything all along. The stillness stays intact, deep and unchanging, as though it has settled into its own natural equilibrium. Awareness feels barely distinguishable now, not because it has disappeared, but because it no longer needs to stand apart from rest. The body remains completely at ease, supported fully, every muscle and system cooperating without effort or instruction. Breathing continues softly, gently, each breath blending into the next so seamlessly it feels like part of the silence itself. Any sensation that arises is faint and distant, appearing briefly before dissolving again, leaving the calm untouched. The mind no longer forms edges around experience. It rests openly, free from the habit of involvement. There is no sense of time moving forward or standing still, only a smooth continuity that feels sufficient on its own. Even the feeling of being aware softens further, becoming more like a quiet atmosphere than a point of attention. Nothing presses in, nothing pulls away. Everything is allowed to remain exactly as it is. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring balance and ease without effort or awareness. You remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the rhythm of rest to continue naturally, steadily, and without interruption, carried forward by a calm that does not need to be guided. The calm continues effortlessly, smooth and uninterrupted, like a deep, quiet current that never rushes and never stops. Awareness feels almost completely at rest now, not focused, not observing, simply present in the most subtle way, like space itself. The body remains deeply settled, fully supported, resting without any need to adjust or respond. Breathing flows naturally, soft and unremarkable, each breath arriving and leaving without drawing attention, perfectly timed on its own. Any sensation that appears does so faintly and briefly, dissolving before it can take shape, leaving the stillness untouched. The mind has no urge to engage, no impulse to think or remember, content to remain open and silent. There is no awareness of time passing, no sense of movement or pause, only a smooth, continuous ease that feels complete in itself. Even the idea of resting fades into rest itself, simple and quietly nourishing. Nothing is missing. Nothing needs to be held together. Everything is already aligned in this moment. The quiet intelligence beneath this experience continues its gentle work, restoring balance without effort or supervision. You remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the calm to carry on naturally, steadily, and without interruption, just as it always has, breath after breath, moment after moment. The stillness stays just as it is, deep, soft, and undisturbed, like a quiet presence that no longer needs to be noticed to exist. Awareness feels almost fully dissolved into rest now, not watching, not drifting, simply resting without shape or direction. The body remains completely at ease, supported in a way that feels absolute and unquestioned, every internal rhythm moving in gentle harmony on its own. Breathing continues quietly, naturally, each breath blending into the next so seamlessly that it feels like part of the silence rather than something happening within it. Any sensation that arises is faint and distant, touching awareness only lightly before fading away again, leaving the calm intact. The mind has released every role it once held, no longer interpreting, responding, or anticipating content to remain open and still. There is no sense of time passing here, no awareness of sequence or duration, only a smooth continuity that feels complete without needing definition. Even the sense of being present softens further, becoming a quiet background rather than something to focus on. Nothing presses in, nothing pulls away. Everything is allowed to remain exactly as it is. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring balance and ease without effort or awareness. You remain here softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the rhythm of rest to continue naturally, steadily, and without interruption, carried by the same calm presence that has been guiding everything all along. The calm remains steady and complete, as though it has reached a depth where nothing else can touch it. Awareness feels so softened now that it no longer distinguishes itself from the stillness, simply existing as a quiet openness without direction or effort. The body continues to rest exactly as it needs to, fully supported, every internal process unfolding in gentle cooperation, free from urgency or demand. Breathing flows on its own, subtle and seamless, each breath arising and dissolving without notice, woven into the silence itself. Any sensation that appears is distant and neutral, passing through lightly and fading without leaving a trace. The mind no longer reaches for meaning or reassurance. It has learned that nothing is required in this moment. There is no sense of time passing, no awareness of beginning or ending, only a smooth continuity that feels whole and sufficient. Even the idea of calm dissolves into calm itself, simple and unremarkable yet deeply restoring. Nothing needs to be held together, nothing needs to be watched. Everything is already in balance. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, aligning and renewing without effort or awareness. You remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing rest to carry on naturally, steadily, and without interruption, guided by a rhythm that has always known how to hold you. The stillness continues without interruption, gentle and vast, like a depth that has no edges and no need to define itself. Awareness feels almost completely merged with rest now, not observing, not drifting, simply existing in quiet openness. The body remains fully settled, supported so naturally that there is no sense of weight or effort, only ease. Breathing flows softly in the background, each breath arriving and leaving without notice, part of the same calm rhythm that fills this moment. Any sensation that briefly appears does so faintly and fades away on its own, leaving the stillness untouched. The mind remains quiet and uninvolved, free from the habit of doing, content to rest without purpose or direction. There is no sense of time here, no awareness of movement or pause, only a smooth continuity that feels complete in itself. Even the sense of being aware softens further, blending gently into the calm rather than standing apart from it. Nothing calls for attention. Nothing needs to change. Everything is already resting exactly where it belongs. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring and balancing without effort or awareness. You remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the calm to flow on naturally, steadily, and without interruption, carried forward by the same quiet rhythm that has been holding you all along. The quiet remains soft and complete, like a gentle depth that has settled into itself and no longer needs anything added or taken away. Awareness feels almost indistinguishable now, not because it has disappeared, but because it has relaxed into the calm so fully that it no longer stands apart from it. The body stays deeply at rest, supported without effort, every internal rhythm moving in silent cooperation, guided by something that knows exactly what to do without instruction. Breathing continues on its own, smooth and subtle, each breath blending seamlessly into the next, part of the same quiet continuity that surrounds you. Any sensation that arises is faint and distant, touching awareness lightly before dissolving again, leaving no trace behind. The mind no longer reaches or responds. It rests in openness, free from the need to engage, free from urgency or expectation. Time has lost its meaning here, no longer felt as passing or pausing, only replaced by a steady, uninterrupted ease that feels complete on its own. Even the sense of being present softens further, becoming more like a gentle atmosphere than a point of focus. Nothing presses in from the outside and nothing pulls from within. Everything is allowed to remain exactly as it is. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring balance and ease without effort or awareness. You remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the rhythm of rest to continue naturally, steadily, and without interruption, carried forward by the same calm presence that has always known how to hold you. The stillness continues to hold everything gently, without effort, without intention, like a deep resting place that doesn't shift when nothing moves. Awareness feels almost fully dissolved now, not watching, not directing, simply resting as quiet openness. The body remains completely at ease, supported so naturally that even the idea of support feels unnecessary. Breathing flows on softly, subtle and steady, each breath merging into the next without distinction, part of the same calm rhythm that fills the space around you. Any sensation that appears does so faintly, briefly, and fades away on its own, leaving the calm untouched. The mind has released every remaining habit of involvement, no longer shaping experience, no longer seeking meaning, content to remain silent and still. There is no sense of time passing here, no awareness of sequence or duration, only a smooth continuity that feels complete and sufficient. Even the feeling of resting fades into rest itself, simple, neutral, and deeply nourishing. Nothing calls for attention, nothing needs to be remembered. Everything is already aligned in this moment. The quiet intelligence beneath this calm continues its gentle work, restoring balance and harmony without effort or awareness, allowing you to remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding as it flows on naturally, steadily, and without interruption. The calm remains steady and untouched, like a deep silence that has no beginning and no edge. Awareness feels so softened now that it no longer separates itself from what is happening. It simply rests, quiet and unobtrusive, like space itself. The body continues to lie in perfect ease, supported without effort, every internal rhythm unfolding exactly as it should, without instruction or adjustment. Breathing flows naturally in the background, subtle and smooth, each breath dissolving into the next, barely noticed yet perfectly aligned. Any sensation that briefly appears does so gently and fades away on its own, leaving the stillness exactly as it was. The mind remains open and quiet, free from the need to interpret, decide, or understand, trusting the unfolding completely. There is no sense of time moving forward or standing still, only a seamless continuity that feels whole and sufficient. Even the idea of calm softens into calm itself, uncomplicated and deeply nourishing. Nothing presses in from the outside and nothing pulls from within. Everything is already resting in its natural place. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring balance and ease without effort or awareness. You remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing rest to deepen in its own way, carried forward by a steady rhythm that has always known how to hold you. The stillness remains exactly as it is, smooth and settled, as if it has reached a depth where nothing can disturb it anymore. Awareness feels almost completely transparent now, not focused anywhere, not observing anything, simply present as a quiet openness that needs no attention. The body continues to rest effortlessly, supported in every way, each internal system moving in gentle harmony without direction or effort. Breathing flows softly and naturally, each breath arriving and leaving as part of the same calm rhythm, so subtle it blends into the silence itself. Any sensation that appears is distant and brief, touching awareness lightly before dissolving again, leaving the calm unchanged. The mind has fully released its involvement, no longer forming thoughts, memories, or expectations, content to remain still and unoccupied. There is no sense of time passing here, no feeling of waiting or arriving, only a smooth, uninterrupted ease that feels complete on its own. Even the sense of being present softens further, becoming a quiet background rather than something defined. Nothing needs to be done. Nothing needs to be understood. Everything is already unfolding exactly as it should. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring balance and ease without effort or awareness, allowing you to remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, carried forward naturally, steadily, and without interruption. The calm continues without effort, deep and consistent, like a quiet foundation that has always been there beneath everything else. Awareness feels almost completely at rest now, not centered, not drifting, simply existing as a gentle openness that doesn't need to engage. The body remains fully relaxed, supported so completely that even the idea of relaxation feels unnecessary, as if rest is simply the natural state. Breathing flows on softly and evenly, each breath rising and dissolving without notice, woven seamlessly into the stillness. Any sensation that appears does so faintly and briefly, passing through without weight, leaving the calm exactly as it is. The mind remains silent and uninvolved, free from effort, free from direction, content to remain open and still. There is no sense of time passing, no awareness of sequence or change, only a smooth continuity that feels whole and sufficient on its own. Even the feeling of awareness softens further, blending into the quiet rather than standing apart from it. Nothing needs to happen next. Nothing is unfinished. Everything is already resting exactly where it belongs. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring balance and ease without effort or attention. You remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the rhythm of rest to continue naturally, steadily, and without interruption, carried forward by a calm that knows exactly how to hold you. The stillness stays gently in place, unbroken and complete, like a deep quiet that does not require awareness to sustain it. Whatever sense of effort once existed has fully dissolved, leaving only a smooth ease that supports everything naturally. Awareness feels faint and spacious now, not centered anywhere, not observing, simply resting as a quiet openness. The body remains deeply at ease, supported without question, every internal rhythm flowing in calm cooperation, guided by something older than thought. Breathing continues softly and evenly, each breath blending into the next so seamlessly that it feels inseparable from the silence itself. Any sensation that briefly appears does so lightly and fades without resistance, leaving the calm untouched. The mind stays empty of activity, free from commentary, free from direction, content to remain still. There is no sense of time passing, no awareness of movement or pause, only a gentle continuity that feels sufficient and whole. Even the sense of resting softens further, dissolving into rest itself, simple and quietly nourishing. Nothing calls for attention. Nothing needs to be adjusted. Everything is already aligned exactly as it should be. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring balance and ease without effort or awareness, allowing you to remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding as it flows on naturally, steadily, and without interruption. The calm remains exactly as it is, deep and effortless, like a quiet depth that no longer reacts to anything at the surface. Awareness feels so softened now that it doesn't feel separate from rest at all, simply existing as a gentle openness without direction or focus. The body continues to rest fully supported, every part cooperating naturally, no tension, no signal calling for change. Breathing flows on in its own subtle rhythm, each breath arriving and leaving without notice, seamlessly woven into the stillness. Any sensation that briefly appears does so faintly and dissolves on its own, leaving no imprint, no disturbance. The mind remains completely uninvolved, free from thought, memory, or anticipation, trusting the unfolding without needing to observe it. Time feels absent here, no sense of passing moments or progression, only a smooth, continuous ease that feels complete by itself. Even the awareness of calm softens further, blending gently into calm itself. Nothing presses in, nothing pulls away. Everything is allowed to remain exactly as it is. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring balance and ease without effort or awareness, while you remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing rest to continue naturally, steadily, and without interruption. The stillness continues to hold everything in quiet balance, steady and undisturbed, as though it has settled into a place where nothing more is needed. Awareness feels almost completely merged with this calm now, not observing, not drifting, simply resting as open space without boundaries. The body remains deeply at ease, supported in every way, each internal process unfolding gently and naturally, guided without effort. Breathing flows softly in the background, subtle and unremarkable, each breath dissolving into the next, perfectly aligned with the silence around it. Any sensation that arises does so faintly and briefly, touching awareness lightly before fading away again, leaving the calm untouched. The mind remains quiet and empty of activity, free from thought and intention, content to remain still. There is no sense of time passing, no awareness of change or pause, only a smooth continuity that feels complete on its own. Even the feeling of resting softens further, dissolving into rest itself, simple, neutral, and deeply nourishing. Nothing needs attention. Nothing needs correction. Everything is already in harmony. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring and balancing without effort or awareness, while you remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the rhythm of rest to continue naturally, steadily, and without interruption, exactly as it is meant to be. The calm stays smooth and uninterrupted, like a deep quiet that no longer notices the world moving above it. Awareness feels almost completely at rest now, not centered anywhere, not watching anything, simply existing as a soft openness without edges. The body remains entirely at ease, supported without effort, every internal rhythm flowing gently on its own, exactly as it knows how to do. Breathing continues softly, subtle and steady, each breath blending into the next so naturally it feels inseparable from the stillness itself. Any sensation that briefly appears does so lightly and fades without resistance, leaving the calm untouched. The mind no longer participates at all, free from thought, memory, or expectation, content to remain silent and open. There is no sense of time passing, no awareness of before or after, only a smooth continuity that feels complete and sufficient. Even the sense of awareness softens further, dissolving into the calm rather than standing apart from it. Nothing needs to happen. Nothing needs to be understood. Everything is already resting exactly where it belongs. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring balance and ease without effort or awareness, while you remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing rest to continue naturally, steadily, and without interruption, carried forward by a rhythm that has always known how to hold you. The stillness remains settled and complete, like a calm that has found its own center and no longer needs to adjust. Awareness feels so gentle now that it barely registers as awareness, more like a quiet spaciousness in which everything rests effortlessly. The body continues to lie in perfect ease, supported fully with no impulse to move, no signal asking for attention. Breathing flows on softly and naturally, each breath arriving and leaving without notice, woven seamlessly into the silence. Any sensation that briefly appears does so faintly and dissolves on its own, leaving the calm untouched and undisturbed. The mind stays quiet and uninvolved, free from thought, memory, or expectation, content to remain open and still. There is no sense of time passing here, no awareness of progression or pause, only a smooth continuity that feels whole and sufficient. Even the sense of being present softens further, blending gently into the quiet rather than standing apart from it. Nothing presses in from the outside and nothing pulls from within. Everything is allowed to remain exactly as it is. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring balance and ease without effort or awareness, while you remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the rhythm of rest to continue naturally, steadily, and without interruption, carried forward by the same calm presence that has been holding you all along. The calm continues to exist in its own quiet completeness, unchanged and unchanging, like a depth that has no need to announce itself. Awareness feels almost entirely diffused now, not focused anywhere, not attentive to anything, simply present as a gentle openness that does not require recognition. The body remains deeply at rest, fully supported, every internal rhythm moving in natural harmony without effort or instruction. Breathing flows softly in the background, subtle and steady, each breath dissolving into the next without distinction, part of the same silent continuity. Any sensation that arises does so faintly and briefly, touching awareness lightly before fading away again, leaving the stillness exactly as it was. The mind remains completely quiet, free from thought, free from direction, free from the need to engage, trusting the unfolding without question. There is no sense of time passing, no awareness of sequence or duration, only a smooth, uninterrupted ease that feels complete on its own. Even the awareness of rest softens further, blending gently into rest itself. Nothing calls for attention. Nothing needs to be changed. Everything is already aligned exactly as it should be. The quiet intelligence beneath this moment continues its gentle work, restoring balance and ease without effort or awareness, while you remain softly suspended in this peaceful unfolding, allowing the rhythm of rest to continue naturally, steadily, and without interruption, carried forward by the same calm presence that has always been there. As this quiet journey gently settles, allow the calm you're feeling to remain with you, carrying forward into sleep, into waking, into every simple moment that follows. There is nothing you need to hold on to and nothing you need to push away. Only this steady understanding that peace does not come from forcing life to be different, but from meeting it as it is. Let the breath continue its natural rhythm, let the body rest in its own wisdom, and let the mind remain soft and unburdened. You don't need to search for meaning anymore, because meaning reveals itself naturally when you are present and open. Stay here as long as you wish, returning to this sense of ease whenever you need it, knowing it has always been available to you. And if this experience resonated with you and brought even a moment of peace, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can continue exploring these calming journeys whenever you need them.